Welcome back to part 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
Coffee break with JFK. Brought to you with our sponsor, Chesterfield, the cigarette that satisfies.
I'm in flavor country.
That's right. Did you ever smoke cigarettes?
4 out of 5 12-year-olds prefer Chesterfield.
Chesterfield, the gift that keeps on.
I did smoke.
What was your CAG of choice?
CAG.
Oh, Bubba.
Oh, dude. You got like fucking special needs
the cone.
dinosaurs.
He just doesn't know.
I know, he's funny. He does. He needs some like blinkers or something.
Okay.
Beep, beep.
Bubba, get back. Go, get.
Oh, big stinky dog.
Hey, we're back with Kelly Lemieux, bass player of Buckcherry.
What's up? Cigarettes. I think if you had to whittle it down, it was probably Marlboro Lights.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely a Cowboy Killer Marlboro Red kind of a guy.
I would do those, and then for a while I was going Camel Straights.
Never been sicker.
No tampon on those.
Oh, there is not. Oh,
I did. I would some cigarettes, if they were too light, I'd just rip the fucking the filter off.
You're like, why am I getting so lightheaded?
That's my addicted personality.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, we are not going to get into that.
That's a whole. That's like you want to have time to unpack that bag.
No. So okay. Kelly,
here we go.
Well, Kelly's back. We've been talking about his time with Steve Vai and the auditions. We talked a little bit about Fear. We talked a little bit about the original band he was in. We were both in the same town. We grew up. Kelly went to North Salem High School.
I did.
I went to the home of the Vikings.
Graduated.
Yeah. I went to McNary, barely graduated. Home of the Celtics.
You know what? I barely graduated.
Dude, we're together.
I'm telling you.
Okay, so I live in Kelly's old neighborhood.
He does.
In
away.
Southeast Salem, man. And the crazy part is he had bandmates. They all lived in like a 3-block radius.
Yeah, more or less.
Boulder.
Pretty much. Damon's was right there.
On Pennsylvania.
Right on Pennsylvania.
Well, let's not give away where I live. Let's not do that yet.
You're the one that said.
I know. I know. We jumped in there. All right. Well, we're just gonna leave it. We're gonna leave it at that.
And Brett lived up the street.
Yep.
And Fuller was in the hood too.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Not at first, but he did later. But he was a year older, so he had a car before the rest of us.
Oh,
so.
Right.
Actually, I think Damon was a little bit older too.
Yeah, that was Thin Ice, and then Thin Ice later became Harlot.
For a little while.
And then you guys booted Mike, and it was Aaron, you, and Lowry on drums doing Harlot, and you guys booted Mike. You booted.
We did?
No, yeah. And then
he was in like 20 bands.
He was. Sam Hain. Was that?
Yeah.
Blitzkrieg.
Yeah.
Johnny Koken and Randy Laurent.
He was in, what was the band with his sister too?
I don't even remember any of that.
Sue had a band.
Okay. So, but then it turned into Centerfold with Kevin Graun.
Yalmar.
Yep.
AKA Scream
with Colin Stringer.
That's the string man.
That's right. You and Grubman. You guys did 2 shows. You went down to Monterey.
That's right. But the Monterey show was not with those other guys.
No, it was Dean Castronovo on drums.
And Jeff Marks, a.k.a. Jeff Horton from the Wild Dogs.
And it was just you and Kevin?
It was half the Wild Dogs. Well, so here's what happened. They fired me. I wrote all the motherfucking songs.
Oh, that's crazy.
They fired me. That's the only gig I've ever been fired from.
Wow.
And I laughed my ass. I walked in and they were sitting there and I go, you motherfuckers going to fire me? Well, yeah. And I just looked at it and I went, and I laughed and I went, okay, good luck. And I fucking split. 3 weeks later, fucking Kevin fired the other 2 guys, hired me back, and hired Dean and Jeff. And we went down and did that show opening for Starship in Monterey.
Wow.
And then came back and was like, that's when I was just like, I got to move. I got to fucking move.
I remember the show you guys did at the Grand Theater with you and Colin
and Aaron being the
he got so drunk.
Well, he's really smart when it comes to alcohol. Because when you're
don't do it. Don't say it.
When you're Irish.
All right. We'll just leave it at that.
When your dad's Irish and your mom's native, it's not conducive.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I love Aaron, but
it's a combination.
I don't drink.
Yeah.
And because I did stupid shit.
What's crazy is you guys dumped so much into that show. I don't know.
And then he got hammered and I look over and this guy's doing barrel rolls with his guitar. That was filmed. We went and watched it afterwards, and we would watch it, and then all 3 of us would turn around and look at Aaron every minute, and he'd go, Oh.
Yeah, because it had the potential to be so cool. They brought in, you guys brought in,
lights.
Kevin brought in
Yay.
massive light show.
We did.
Huge PA. Like
There
a
were
total.
a lot of people there, if I
was
remember.
I was there.
Yeah.
My whole band was there. We were all there.
Want to hear a trippy story?
Yes. You like the wood chipper going right now?
That's so great. It's like Fargo. It's my favorite scene.
Me too. Stephen Buscemi.
So, my buddy Pete, Pete's from Salem, and why am I fucking brain farting his last name? He's a little bit older. Pete Lampy, and he owns Pete's Upright Bass Shop up in Portland. If any of you guys play upright, go to his place. He's over by me, and
That's a good plug.
He's over by me in my area, which I'm not telling you where I live.
You sure?
Southeast. Anyways, it's the only place. But anyways, I've known Pete for a while because I bought a couple of uprights, and I go in there, and he's just a cool dude. I can walk over to his place, and he goes, "Hey man," he goes, "You want to see something trippy?" I go, "Yeah," because he went to North, but he dropped out. I think it's sophomore, junior year maybe. And he goes, "Check this out." So I'm cleaning out my storage space, and he goes, "Remember these?" And it was one of those wooden treasure chests that you made in shop class.
Oh, sure. I remember
with the
that.
nail hinges
Yeah,
and whatnot.
yeah.
And he goes, "Hey, I found this." Flips it open. He goes, "Check this out." Pulls out a centerfold ticket.
No.
And he goes, "Is that your band?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Because check this out." And he flips it over, and my autograph, a 16-year-old, 18-year-old, whatever.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah, you were-
18.
you were 18.
I was 18.
Yeah.
I was getting that confused with the Harlot show.
Right.
And he flips it over, and he goes, "Is that your autograph?" And I go, "That's my shitty 18-year-old autograph." He goes, and I just look at him and I go, "That's fucking weird, bro."
That is crazy.
That was so weird. Anyways,
How fun is that?
that was bizarre. So yeah, we did that, and it was a great show, and then it was done.
Yeah. Just as fast as it started.
Here today, gone later today.
Okay, which by the way, we watched Kevin's what was it called? Hot Boy?
I don't remember.
Oh, we just watched the video yesterday. Arnold and I pulled it up. I went on Kevin's.
What year is this?
This is 89.
What band is it?
Hot Boy.
That's a band name.
Yeah.
It's not a gay magazine.
But no, they shot a full on.
Of course.
Like it.
That's one thing I liked about him is he would just go
He
big.
went all big.
He fucking went big. That dude was fucking dedicated.
Yeah, either
to shit. He even lived at our place for a little while because he was living in that horrible fucking
the warehouse.
yeah, and it was too cold in the fucking winter.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to figure out, was he a trust fund kid or did he just have chicks that put the money up for him? Because dude, they shot a full on
No clue, bro.
like 1989 full production video. But they shot it in Portland because they were on the
Well, he lives in Beaverton. I've seen him. I've seen him in the last 3 years or so.
Yeah, it's an interesting tune, but man, they were. I swear I recognized the bass player. Yes, the bass player looked really familiar. But anyway, let's not go on
talk about the name.
Let's Hot Boy. Yeah. So Kelly, let's talk about influences, man.
Oh gosh.
So 81, 82 is when we're really first like wanting to play.
Yeah. I wanted to play sooner, but
that's really when it started happening, right?
That's when it started.
8th grade, freshman year, right?
8th grade.
Okay. And I remember seeing you guys. You must have been 9th grade at the new place.
Yeah.
Because we were freshmen.
It was 9th grade.
We had just started, and we were so bad. We were so terrible. And I remember you guys wanted us to do it. You asked us to do a show with you, but we were not ready. And then we ended up doing the Reed Opera House thing in our sophomore year.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about this real quick. Here's the bands that were happening at the time that we were all influenced by, right?
Yep.
Let's talk about the British invasion.
Which one?
The second.
Oh, the Nuwaba?
Saxon.
Nuwaba Hutch?
Yep.
The new wave of British heavy metal.
Yep, Saxon,
Psalm,
Diamond Head.
Didn't see Diamond Head. My buddy Dean, who's younger than me, plays bass in Diamond Head.
Does he really?
Dean's English Cat. Yeah,
Oh,
he was
that's awesome.
in a band that John produced, Beat Union. But he plays in Diamond Head now.
All right, but let's talk about that.
Okay.
Diamond Head, Tigers of Pantang,
Saxon.
Saxon.
I was into Saxon. The other two, not so much.
Iron Maiden, except
Of
German.
course, Iron Maiden.
German,
of course,
right?
Sect.
Yeah.
Except, remember hearing that Fast as a Shark for the first time on Metal Shop.
Oh,
And I
great
just
song.
remember the intro. Dee, 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 dee.
Yeah.
And then
Hido.
exactly
Right.
and I just remember hearing, dude, that shit was like almost that was almost if it wasn't for Motorhead, that was almost the precursor to like speed metal.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Motorhead was doing that
for sure.
but like except with those twin fucking V's.
Oh, I know.
And they're just the searing German guitar tones.
Yeah, so precise.
They're
But
all
you know what?
American
But you know
gear.
what? You know what was a precursor to? Many people don't even realize this. The precursor to all that speed metal.
The Banana Splits.
no,
Crazy Horses, the Osmond.
no, Stone Cold Crazy.
Yeah, probably. Digga 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 digga.
Oh, dude, Brian May. Are you kidding me?
Crazy.
Yeah, and that's early. Before anybody.
70s.
He had that was crushing. All right, so British invasion, right? Second, the metal invasion. We're all wanting to be in bands,
Yeah.
right? What were like your top 5 at that time? What were the one? I know what mine were, but what
Probably
were
the
top?
same ones I still listen to.
I know. Isn't that great though?
Van Halen,
Yeah.
AC/DC.
Yep.
I was a huge Angel City fan back then. I still love Angel City.
Yeah,
Matter of fact, when the first time I went to Australia with, would have been Goldfinger. Yeah.
Don't tell me you got to see them.
No, I saw him at the Whiskey though.
Oh,
I saw him at the Whiskey.
Wow.
But I went to, as soon as I got there, this is when CDs were still happening.
Right.
I went and found the Angels.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
bought everything I could on CD.
How was the early stuff?
It's the same stuff we know.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much. I mean, there was some, I got mostly like the compilations and some live stuff.
Yeah. But same material?
A lot of it.
Did they only have the one album? Is that
No. They had the Face to Face, and then there was the what was the other one? Night Attack and Save the. I don't wanna face. What was that one with the eyes?
Yeah, that was off Face to Face.
What was the one where with the weird cartoon guy coming out of the mirror?
Oh yeah, oh gosh.
That one was the good one.
Yeah.
That one was
had
good
Marseille.
shit. Yeah,
Long
that was the
Line.
one I liked.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of that like early, like how AC/DC took stuff from one album and the other one, and then did the American release.
Right.
I think there was a lot of that.
Sure. Okay. And number 4.
Obviously,
Maiden.
Ozzy, Sabbath.
Oh, Ozzy.
The first Ozzy's, because that first Ozzy record came out in like 81, right?
It did, yeah.
Gosh,
do you remember the first time you heard
Crazy Train?
Or I Don't Know? Those were the 2 hits.
I'm sure it was on the radio.
Yeah. Oh, it was.
Well, you know what I used to do? So, of course, because I was one of the cool kids, I rode in the back of the bus. Bitch. I would bring my boombox that I had recorded the King Biscuit Flower Hour.
yeah,
and I have
those.
that whole, the stuff that they used later on for tribute.
Sure.
I used to rock that shit all the time. Those were probably like the ones that are still staples now.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was some bands.
How did
April Wine.
How did Maiden and Priest play into any of that?
I feel like they were a little bit later on. I feel like they weren't until like Number of the Beast. Actually, no, that would have been, so
That was about our sophomore
so
year.
here's a
was
funny
number.
thing. No, freshman. It was freshman. I remember it was 8th grade to freshman because I went with the Bonds, with Ryan, and I went and hung out. Their family's from Yakima originally, and we went up there for a week or two, and my mom gave me $20, and I immediately went to the record store and bought 2 cassettes at the same time for it was probably $20. I bought Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast,
Yeah.
and I bought the Scorpions Blackout, another band, the Scorpions.
Just
And
great record.
guess who came to town a year later?
Oh, the Scorpions and Iron Maiden on
And
tour.
I went to that.
with Girls' School opening up.
Yep.
Oh, you know what? I had bronchitis.
Oh, you missed out.
I know. I was going to get tickets
it
and
was
everything.
fucking tits.
I was so sick. I was on the verge of
That's a bummer.
pneumonia. I know. It was
That's a
the
bummer.
one tour. Because that was like the last. Great. I mean, to see Number of the Beast tour.
Dude, I was with Clive Burr still.
And we've all seen the footage of those tours. They are they sang and played better on those records.
That Number of the Beast was, plus they had a new singer. It was kind of like, for me, it was like Van Halen, Fair Warning.
Right, exactly.
It didn't quite have the effect Van Halen did, but it was pretty damn close.
Sure. I'm
And,
with you,
and,
man.
and the Scorpions too. I mean, I went to see like those two together. I mean, I just remember seeing, I met Michael Anthony, name drop. You're wearing your steel-toed boots. I met Michael Anthony a few years ago at the NAMM show through our old tour manager, Rick Kelly. and he was managing it was when they were split off, when the Van Halens were in one camp and Sammy and I met Mike, and he's a teeny tiny little guy.
Sure.
I was
stocky,
like,
but
yeah. He's just like a little stocky guy, but I was just tripping out because I was like, I thought I was short. I'm like 5'7", whatever the fuck I am. And
Dave just towered over all those guys. Dave and Alex.
He's not. Alex is
Dave's like 5'11".
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Dave was tall.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Ed's like 5'9", right?
Yeah, I think so. It's 5'8", 5'9", somewhere around there. But anyways, I met Michael and I was just like, hey, I was like, just like, oh my God. But I was cool.
Right.
But I was just like, man, can I tell you something? I'm like, I saw you guys on Fair Warning, and that show is the reason I'm a drunken pugilistic musician right now. I mean, I wasn't drinking at the time. Right. I haven't drank in fucking going on 16 years. But, and he was like, oh, thank you. And his tech that has been with him since forever, Doogie, I think's his name.
Still with him?
Yeah. And he was with him, and he goes, and he looks at me and he goes, that's when they were the best. Like right in front of me, he goes,
awesome.
He goes, they were fucking rock stars and they were crushing it out, ruling the world, but they didn't know it.
Not yet.
Yeah. And he goes, that was the best.
Okay. So did you see, it was in June 8 and June 9,
yes,
1981.
Did you see the pin at some point?
Did you see the first show or the second one?
I don't remember. I think
the first one sold out. We had to go to the second. But Kelly, here's the crazy thing.
They moved the second one to the first one.
Yeah. Here's the crazy thing. That was the show. That was my very first concert ever.
Wow.
I don't want
lucky.
I know. Well, I was supposed to go to Oregon Jam with Riot, Molly Hatchet.
Who was on it? Riot.
Dio. Yeah.
It was Black Sabbath, or it was Black Sabbath. Dio.
Oh, Black Sabbath, Dio. Blue Oyster Cult, Riot, and Molly Hatchet was the Oregon Jam in 1980.
And you know what's funny is we had just moved back here because I was born in Salem.
Didn't you say did you go? Or
we drove by the fairgrounds.
And you could hear it from.
And I was just like looking at my mom like, let me go now. Yeah. I was trying to jump out of the car.
Right. Yeah, my sister's boyfriend was supposed to take me, and he stood me up. He said, "Don't get a ticket. I got tickets.
You fucking
don't even." Yeah, and I waited all day.
What's his name?
Jeff Dennis.
Fuck you, Jeff. Fuck you.
That would have been my first show. But
you know what? Van Halen Fair Warning's better. He did you a favor.
No,
although I would have loved to have seen Riot, and I would love to have seen Black Sabbath.
Fire Down Under tour. Oh. Right? And the first Dio tour.
We used to do Swords and Tequila.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I remember, yeah. But I'll tell you what.
Girl, that was another band I loved.
Oh,
Mike
that was
Podrabo introduced me to that band, too.
Another glam band. Yeah, but Fair Warning, man. That's when I went. Leading up to that, I was just really into like Billy Joel, Elton John. I was into Van Halen. Don't get me wrong, because I had been listening to them since 78.
You weren't a big Kiss guy?
Never a Kiss fan.
Wow, that was my gateway drug, which I think a lot of guys. It was a gate, and because you know what, early Kiss, and I'm talking. Let's stop at 77 or 78.
Okay.
Kiss Alive 2, I'm done.
Yeah.
To be quite honest with you, one of my first. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What was the first, your own money, the first music that you bought with your own money?
Never forget it. I still have the
And
record.
how old were you?
I was young. I was young, man. Probably sixth.
Wow.
Sixth grade. I bought the
So that would have
first.
been like 1999?
1999, 2001-ish.
Somewhere, yeah.
The first Boston record,
Oh.
which is one of the greatest albums of all time. I mean, it's in the top 20 for sure of greatest rock.
Unfortunately, I've heard it so much. I'm sick of it.
I know. But
I don't blame them.
the first Boston record, it blew my mind. Yeah, that was it. But I'll tell you, seeing Fair Warning, you know what blew my mind about Fair Warning, and this was my first show in a like an arena, right? Yeah. Is the set, and you know what? I've still never seen this one time. And I've seen a million shows. Never seen this one time in a million other shows I've ever seen at the Coliseum or Rose Garden or wherever. The second Van Halen, the lights went down, to the second they finished the encore, the crowd was going insane the entire time. Not, there was a lull, everybody kind of sits. No, it was going in, and I've never seen that to this day from And even all the mosh pit bands, when I saw Pantera, the upper sections are all sitting down. No.
You got to go to South America.
Oh, I'm sure.
Man, the Argentinians, the Brazilians.
Well, you've seen it, right?
Yeah,
but let's just say in the States.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, I've been lucky enough to play down there, dude.
Sure.
Those crowds are so awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of countries are great.
Yeah.
But the South Americans are they're rabid, man. They're awesome.
Okay, so we'll get into that. But let me ask you this: what were the first bands that were, when you first were listening to it, you're starting to play a little bit? What were your three major influences that were really shaping the style of your playing?
Wow,
the ones that really spoke to you.
It's weird because I was as much a lead singer back then as I was a bass player.
Yeah, because you sang 4 or 5 tunes as well.
Oh, dude, I sang half the shit me and Jeff Fuller did.
Yeah.
I mean, I sang Jeff and I were the two main singers.
Yeah, and I've got that reel-to-reel that I transferred of you guys playing at North Salem High School.
Yeah, that was Jeff. Jeff recorded that.
Yeah.
He's always been into recording.
He sent it to me. I made a CD. I sent it right back because I had an old 3.5-inch.
Yeah.
3.5-inch speed.
I got to hear that again, man.
Yeah, it's really good. You guys do. We used to do
Where Have All the Good Times Gone?
You did Where Have All the Good Times Gone? You do Pretty Woman. It's really good. You do
did.
Highway to Hell.
Yeah. Oh, we did do Highway.
Yeah. Yeah, and you sang it. And it was,
I did?
And it was good.
Wow, maybe I did.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
It was really good, man. You got another thing coming on there.
That was Damon sang that.
Yeah. I don't
the
know.
Ripper.
I don't think you were doing Ripper at that point. But I'll tell you what, the girls, it sounds like a Beatles concert. The girls are just going crazy.
Dude, can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I was.
You got laid after that show.
Bro, I was only 14, 15.
Yeah.
I was still afraid of chicks. I was just I mean, I liked them, but I was kind of shy.
Right.
And I'm still kind of a little bit, I'm not one of those hey, mama. I've never called a chick mama that I've just met. Hey, mama.
Right.
I know people that have, and it's really embarrassing.
It's creepy.
Anyways, hey, mama. It reminds me of what movie? It's Dazed and Confused, or one of those horrible fucking. Anyways, I'll tell you what the most influential movie on me musically was, and this is what got me into Van Halen and Cheap Trick. There's a movie called Over the Edge.
Oh,
have you not seen this?
No, I don't. Never.
Hold your hand out.
Don't slap my hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, that movie was what got me out of Kiss, really out of Kiss, and into. I waited for the credits because I'm what in the actual fuck? Who is this? What the fuck? It was all Van Halen, Cheap Trick. The Ramones were in it. I think Joan.
Wait, are they making appearances in it, or is it just the music?
The soundtrack is amazing.
Gotcha.
And it's mostly Cheap Trick.
Wow.
And it starts out with and I'm talking first record, Cheap Trick.
Right,
Surrender's on it also. That's the fourth record. That movie, I waited for and I wrote it down, and I said to my parents, for Christmas, what do you want? And I said, I want Van Halen. I want Van Halen 1, Van Halen 2, Van Halen, any Van Halen. Get me, because it was only up to 3.
Right.
I don't think Fair Warning had coming out by then.
It's Women and Children was it.
Yeah, and I was I want Van Halen. And that really got me into Cheap Trick, and I've been a ginormous Cheap Trick fan forever. So to answer your question, though, who influenced me bass-wise? I don't think I got influenced bass-wise until I got, maybe... I didn't until I started really listening to Billy Sheehan and
okay, so you were really more those songs were your influence.
Yeah. I was always just I just wanted to I don't ever remember thinking I gotta play like this. I always loved Michael Anthony.
Sure.
Anything Van Halen, because that shit was it sounded they sounded to me like the jazz improv band got together and did heavy metal.
Right, because
Anthony always did those.
Anthony always did those really cool little bass-ish licks.
Yeah, weird little pew pew pew, or the all that weird little stuff. I was Michael Anthony. I would say probably Geezer Butler had an influence, but I was really kind of more about I just wanted to play cool songs, which I'm still I don't I love playing with Paul Gilbert, but man, at the end of the day, I'd rather hammer eighth notes and just play something that's so crushing and moving and just driving. Probably why I'm still a huge AC/DC fan.
Sure. Well, you know what? I think that was probably why you stood out so much when we were kids watching you, because you were completely sold out for the song.
Still.
I know.
I still feel that way.
Well, okay, and let's talk about that for a second. So there was a period there in about 2008 when you were Goldfinger wasn't touring as much.
No, John started producing.
Yeah, and you came home because your mom is sick.
Well, I came home before that, thank God.
Yeah.
That was all serendipity.
Oh.
As depressing and amazingly horrible as it was also pretty awesome, because I kind of came back because there was an audition I auditioned for and I didn't get it. I usually, not to blow sunshine up my butt, but even the Steve Vai one, I turned that down. I've gotten auditions and turned them. I've turned down more auditions than I have not gotten them. And so I didn't get this audition for this band, and it was actually it really wasn't a band. It was Juliette Lewis's.
Yeah.
So
I remember that. Yeah, we were talking about that.
Yeah, so I didn't get it. She went a different route. She went with a girl bass player because she wanted some, and that's cool.
Right.
The funny thing is, the dude I auditioned with, she didn't pick him, the drummer, and he plays with AWOL Nation, and I play with Buckcherry, and the other people in that band don't do fuck all. So
right.
Make better decisions next time. But I am grateful, because had I gotten that gig, I probably would have been someplace far, far away.
You couldn't have
and
been
my
here
mom
for your
got
mom.
sick quick and was gone in 7 weeks.
Yeah, man.
And I mean, not to name drop, but when I was in another band, the 22 Jacks, with a bunch of punk dudes and there was a cat in the band. He got another gig with this guy Dave Grohl, this Chris Shiflett. Chris Shiflett,
my buddy Chris.
And I talked to Chris after that all went down, and his father had passed away from not to tell everybody secret stories. This kind of a similar thing happened to him, but he was like on the big rock and roll train,
right?
And was and his father was, I'll be fine. And his dad passed away while he was on tour, and he hardly got to see him at all. And he told me right after this, I remember I was sitting outside in Vancouver at my dad and mom's place right after my mom had passed away. And he goes, you know what? And he gives the best advice. Well, him and my buddy Dano gave me really killer advice, because his father had his father passed away from a brain tumor too, a cancer. And those two guys gave me Dano before that just said, you have to be the best cheerleader you've ever been. It's not about you. Just become the cheerleader for your mom, and that was killer advice. And then Chris, after that, he said, you know what? You're lucky you were home for that, because I wasn't. And he goes, not a day goes by that it just doesn't kill me. And he goes, you're very lucky. And so, was very grateful for that. So I didn't end up getting that gig, and which also is one of my, I have a couple of credos that I live by, or if people ask me advice, or people are going through shit, and I just go, you know what? Sometimes it's better not to get the things that you think you want.
Yeah.
Later on down the road, you will find out there was a reason you didn't get that. Whether it's sitting on an airplane that got hijacked and driven into a fucking building,
right? Which
I know a couple of people that had tickets for that. LA musicians types and all that, and sometimes it's just you're where you're at when you need to be there. And I was back here in 2008, and I needed to be back here. And it was serendipitous, and I was working over at Jim's shop, and
Normandy Guitars.
Yeah, and I was really just kind of recouping from, it's a hard business, dude. It's feast or famine.
Yeah.
You're either kicking ass or the ass is kicking you. It's hard. So.
Well, I'm actually, I remember that like it was yesterday.
We were playing together.
You were here, and I remember popping down to see you, and then you told me about your mom. She'd been sick, and we used to meet for tacos down at the Brick.
Yeah.
No,
we went to the place upstairs, the Reed Opera House.
Oh yeah, La Perla.
I love that. Is that still there? Probably
no,
not.
He's now Marco's Tacos. He's same owner,
great food.
Great food. But I remember hanging out, and we were playing at at a local club here, and I remember going, Kelly, you should come down and play a few songs. And then you came to rehearsal, and then eventually you're like, dude, I'm not doing anything right now. We're not, Goldfinger's off. And I'm like, bro, you should join the band. And what was so cool was we played all the stuff that we grew up with and loved. And again, that goes back to that.
And then you realize how wrong you're playing it. When you sit down as an adult, you just sit down and you listen, you're like, what the fuck was I even thinking? That's so resonating in the right key. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, but it goes back to that early song sensibility you had. And it was such a joy. At the time, Leland was playing bass. We were only a 3-piece.
And he hated it.
He hated it, but he was industrial strength. But to have a real bass player playing.
Oh, and then he could drink more, too.
And then he could drink more. He could just sing.
Your teeth are really red right now.
But the thing was, man, we had so much fun. And
dude, it was, yeah.
Yeah.
I look about, as dark and fucked up as that was, I met a lot of cool people during that time. Tommy Pearson I met through being down here, and it was where I needed to be when I needed to be, and thank you for you probably kind of saved my sanity a little bit.
Oh, that's good to hear, man. Well, and you kept your chops up too, because when you guys weren't touring.
Yeah, no, it was, I had a blast doing it. I always had fun.
Super fun. Gosh, we had so many, we played so many shows. And what's crazy is you're like, oh, bro, I got a fly-in date, where I'll be gone for 2 weeks, and then Leland would come back on bass.
Yeah.
And then you'd come back.
And he'd be like, I don't ever want to play bass again.
We did that like 8-9 times. And then, of course, we parted ways with Full Flare Larry London, right?
Yep.
And
Larry London that writes all the books.
Yeah, Larry London.
That's a different one.
Super drummer. And then in walks, Dean Castro, if we can name drop, Dean Castro walks in the store, in my music store one day, and says, hey, how's Larry? And I go, well, we just let him go. And he's like, bro, I'm in. And I'll never forget that first rehearsal with you, me, Dino.
And Dean brought his Rush kit. He had that. He had the Neil Peart.
The Neil Peart kit. And I remember,
so cool.
I remember the first rehearsal, and you're like, you're leaning over to me. You go, Joel, because with Larry, everything was pushed and rushed. The songs were like so fast.
He liked to play a lot of extra notes that weren't necessary.
Yeah.
God bless him. I mean,
God bless him. But everything was pushed. And I remember you looking at me going, bro, pull, because I'd been playing with him for 18 years. I had been pushing everything for 18 years. And you're like, bro, bring it back. Because, Dean was right in the pocket.
Well, they put Dean on, and not that he needs a click track, but all the Journey stuff, they put him on a click track forever. So that guy was, he's already phenomenal. I mean, he was phenomenal when he was, that guy was like, I saw him at the White Coaster. Was that a place here?
The Enemy. White Coaster.
I saw the Enemy.
In the White Cat. That was like over off
They did a matinee for underage dudes, and I remember going with the Thin Ice guys, and we were just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he was something unbelievable.
The whole band really was great.
Rick Bartel. Yeah.
Giacomo.
Jacquemed was the
Jean Jacquemed.
That's right.
Paya la mode.
Yeah, very cool. But I'll tell you what though, man, that 6-month window, and we lost you on one show because you had to go. You went to Brazil with Goldfinger. Yeah. So we didn't have you on that one show with Dean, but gosh, we did some great freaking shows, man. But what's so cool is Dean was the same way. It's like he loved all the stuff we were doing because it was Cheap Trick and AC/DC, Billy Idol and Van Halen, and we just crushed that stuff, man. That was super fun. Those some of the best memories musically, and what a joy to be able to play. Because dude, you weren't just like a peer, but we really looked up to you because again, you guys were on a level because you really were. You were sold out. You were all in. We always had one or two guys in the band that were always like, whenever band I was in, they were like, they'd poo-poo stuff. You really like this song. So they'd kind of mail it in. The thing about Thin Ice, man, when we would watch you guys, and you were all in.
Dude, my reputation, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Reputation is a fragile thing. And if I don't have my reputation as a fucking bass player and a human being, then I don't got shit. So I I don't care if there's 5 people in the fucking joint. You never know who 1 or 2 of those people might be. They might be coming in looking for musicians or whatever. And if you're up there,
Mo Austin.
Yeah, if you're up there fucking just phoning it in, motherfucker, you know, people see that shit. They know, and I just don't ever want anybody to think I'm phoning shit in.
Well, what's crazy was like even you were super pro at like 14, 15 years old. And that's what was so cool about the earlier bands that you were in. But listen, we're going to take a break now because we're going to go into part 3 here. But we're with Kelly Lemieux, bass player, Buckcherry. And hey, after this, we're going to jump into real quickly. We're going to talk about some of his dream instruments and amps and things like that. But then we're going to jump all into what he's doing now.
Gear.
We're going to talk about gear, and we're going to jump into what he's doing now with Buckcherry. So this has been Joel Kinney with Coffee Break with JFK, brought to you by Chesterfield.
I'm in flavor country.
That's right. We'll be right back. Join us here for part 3.